Hey y'all, my name is Travis, and today I'm going to be walking through how to run an import into a job's budget. So if you're moving from another system and potentially have a file ready to go, you can use the import tool to take that spreadsheet. It needs to be a CSV file, and you can import that directly into the budget. My recommendation is on that job, or maybe an existing job where you have existing groups and items, go to it and then switch to the import template. The reason why I say this is because that will remove all of the columns that are not importable. For example, like bills are something that you're creating on that job, and it's not something that can just be imported into another project. So this only shows the columns that can be imported, and it just makes sure that the columns you're exporting are going to be clean, and you don't have to think about things you don't have to think about. So what I'd recommend is switching to that view and then export this file as a CSV, and let's open that file on our side of things. So this is what the file will look like, and I would recommend using this as a template for you. And so take your numbers and transpose those onto this spreadsheet. Let me zoom in real quick so you can see this a little bit better. And you can see on the left-hand column, we have cost group as the first column. So when you're importing the items, if you wanted to have them grouped up, this is the way to do it. So you can see the first three items are going to be under pre-construction. It recognizes that those three are the same, so it creates one group with the items that are under it. And technically it's going to be 2 items, and then this top line right here is just so you can input a description for that group if you want to. If you're interested in setting up subgroups, so 2 tiers, 3 tiers, 4 tiers of subgroups, you can. This is going to be under the cost group column also, but if you wanted to do a subgroup, just put a semicolon and type in the name of the group. So let's call it design. For the next one, if it is the same name, also design, but then you wanted one more subgroup, just again, add another semicolon, and let's call this, permits, or whatever name makes the most sense, of course. But just know that you have the option here to do more than one group. You can technically have 5 levels deep. Moving on from here, everything except for the cost item name is technically optional. So we don't have to fill out any of these fields if we don't want to. If you know in the catalog when you're creating an item, technically there are 3 required fields: the cost item name, the cost type, like labor versus materials, and the cost code, which is like the back-end accounting code. In the job's budget, it's not technically required. We're just going to default to the first cost type and cost code on the list if you don't supply it. But if you do supply a unit of measurement, a cost type, or a cost code, just know this needs to match what's under your settings, under the job costing tab, and here are your units, here are your cost types, and here are your cost codes. A little hack for the cost code: you don't technically have to supply both the number and the name. You can just supply the name and it will match it appropriately. But again, you don't have to include this on the import. Just know if you do, it needs to match what's under the job costing page. So if it doesn't match, make sure to update it here on the spreadsheet, or you can adjust your job costing settings to accommodate this import file that you're running. But aside from that, the only other caveat I wanted to talk about, the gotcha in a sense, is when you're importing cost and price. And so technically speaking, I could go on here and I could say we need 5 hours of design at a cost of $100 an hour. And so you and I both know that would be $500 total, which is our extended cost. But humans can put 600 here. And so now the math doesn't line up. So my recommendation to you is if you are importing, cost, make sure to supply a unit cost or an extended cost, not both, because technically they could not match each other. So in this case, I could just get rid of unit cost and that's going to be perfectly fine. For unit price, it's the same sort of thing, right? My unit price multiplied by the quantity might not equal what I type into this field. So I'd say pick one or the other. So in this case, I'm just going to use the extended cost and the extended price, and JobTread will do all the math for you. Basically, when we import it, we're going to show you what the resulting unit price is. Aside from that, your taxable setting is going to be used if you are forwarding sales tax along to the customer. Selected minimum and maximum, that's more of a niche setting, but that's if you're trying to pre-set up selection groups through the import. But that's also something that can easily be done after you run the import too. So when this file is completely ready, it looks good to go, save, and then you'll go back into JobTread. Go to the job list, find that job where you want to run the import, visit the budget tab, and here we'll go import. Find that file on your computer. You can either click to upload or click and drag. Either one works. And what this will do is it will show you the budget columns that you're importing into, and it will show you the columns on your spreadsheet. Because we exported this from the budget, it should match the names perfectly, and we shouldn't need to change anything. All we need to do is click import at the bottom. The one exception to that, if you didn't switch the view on the budget to the one called import template before you exported it, it may mismatch some of the column headers here, so you will want to give it a once over before you click the import button. But if I go down here, click import, this should work perfectly, take a couple seconds behind the scenes, and I'm good to go. So now I see all my groups, all my items, and all the values that I had on the spreadsheet that I uploaded. So that's the basic process. Again, if you don't supply the unit, if you don't supply the cost type, don't supply the cost code, that's okay. We will just default to the first one on the list. But certainly if you get stuck here, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, support@jobtread.com. Thanks so much.